welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to be finishing off the dragon. As you can see, it's all dried nice and he looks fairly dark. We'll call him black. The the wash has given that nice effect, so it doesn't really look as though he needs much doing to him anymore for the time. Well, not I won't really say anymore, but we do need to add a few touches here and there. So we're going to get a little pot, little lid that I have here. Get that out, and we're going to add to that. I don't think we're going to be using the palette, but we'll see. In fact, we may well do, yes, because we're going to start off using Screaming Skull. In fact, no, we don't think we do need it in this one. The Screaming Skull is going to be going on the dry brush. I'm just going to pat a little bit off, and that is going to go onto the top edge of the horns, like so, and on the teeth as well. And there we have some of the issues with dry brushing and fiddly little models where we get it everywhere but where we want it. Never mind. Oh, that's fallen off again. What we're going to do as well is, there we go, we'll dry that now, and then that's that unused. Right, what we're going to do now is, using the Tallarn sand that we used for the horns, we're going to go over just the claws now with this. That's all we're doing, just going over the claws, just a little touch. To just take off all that dark wash colour that we've added. Again, we just need to not just do these, but you might see that I'm not using my head loop for this because I don't really need it. There's not all that much we need to do now, and I'm not going to be using anything for really great detail. It's just, I can make do with my reading glasses. It'll be fine. I just need to add a little bit more of this Tallarn sand to the palette, and also close down to the Screaming Skull. There we go. And now it's just a case of every one of the claws. We don't really need to highlight these bits because they're small enough, they don't really need it, in my opinion. However, these bits will need going over with it, and they will need a highlight, but we don't need to go mad. We just pop the paint on Oh god, that was not clever. That's the problem sometimes when you get a model like this that's fiddly to hold, never mind paint. I mean, it's not been fiddly to paint at all, this model. It's been quite easy to do. The problem has been, as usual, trying to keep it on the stand and keep it still while you're painting it. I'm trying to get into the little nooks and crannies as well. So I'm not going to do the. In fact, yeah, we're going to have to do those knobbly things because I think they are little bits of bone protuberances. There we go. So we just need to touch on some of these because they're not very detailed, but we just want to make sure that every word that we need to do is done. And just in case you wasn't taking much notice of earlier videos, or you've not seen the earlier videos, last Saturday, not last Saturday, the Saturday before, the 1st of July, was a challenge date, or the beginning of a challenge date for from a Facebook and podcast team called Beer Phase. And they're trying to encourage people to paint a model a week for a year. It started on the 1st of July and will run through till the 1st of July next year, I would imagine. And that's what the beer MAW hashtag is at the top of the screen as you look at it. I've also added that to the the description bar, so you can have a look at that if you so wish. It's an interesting idea. I know you're supposed to put photographs up, but by the time I finished taking photographs I could have had the painting done. So I'd sooner show the steps that I'm taking for painting these rather than actually showing photographs. I find it more interesting showing what I'm doing rather than actually showing you what I've done, if you get me drift. As you can see, I'm just touching the top ridge of each of these claws with the Screaming Skull. But I'm also going to add a little Screaming Skull to the palette, just a spot, not all that much, and into that I'm going to pop a little bit of the Screamer Pink that we used earlier for the tongue. I'm saying earlier, it was in the last video. And we're now going to add some of that Screamer Pink to the edge of the tongue, just like so, just to make it look a little brighter than the inside. And with that, I'm going to take off the masking tape that I have around the stand. Hopefully I can get it off without knocking the model flying onto the floor. I suppose in fact I'm better off doing this after I've varnished the model, hadn't I? So I'll leave that on for the time being. and when it's dried I'll go and varnish it. Oh, firstly, yes, there was something else I wanted to do with this. I wanted to highlight a little bit on the crest of the dragon, and what I'm going to use for that is a little bit of dawnstone. Not a great deal, and it's not going to be a strong in-your-face kind of dry brush or highlight. It's just going to be there, if you get me drift. So I'm just going to add a spot of that to my brush, wipe it off, and then just run it gently over the crest there, and there, and there you have the finished dragon. I like that. I don't see any point in going any further with this at all. I'm happy with the way that looks. When you're happy with it, feel free to stop, because the one thing that can spoil a model is if you just carry on regardless and just keep thinking the more you do on it the better it's going to look, because sometimes the more you do on it the worse it's looking because you're fiddling too much with it. But as I say, there we are with Velathidros the Black Dragon. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, as always, take care, God bless, and bye.